Hey, Og, what's going on? We did a lot of trading, man. Did a lot of trading from the lows and the highs. Currently just closed all my trades, so we are flat now. I'm updating Discord currently. Alright guys, everything should be good. Make sure my screen's good. Yeah, it's all good. Alright guys, what's going on? Massive move on Bitcoin overnight. The usual 6 a.m. breakout. Not too happy today. Really not too happy. Probably gonna be a short stream. Definitely not in a good mood. We closed all of our trades overnight, or just now, but not overnight. We closed all of our trades from overnight, just now. Took a pretty big loss. Not pretty big, but we're now negative on the month, so we are down. Let me see. I think we're actually still positive. Let me see. We're like damn near break even. Let me see. Okay, no, we're a little positive. We're a little positive. It's like less than 1%, so we're damn near break even. Let me do the math here. Yeah, we are 0.5% positive right now. So there's really nothing to really show. There's really nothing to show here. Basically, so the original trade that I was in was a long from this bottom, right? So I long in the bottom. Or where was my long initially? My long was... It was somewhere down here. So we longed, started to break downward. I flattened out with a short. Started off already negative because we got fucking 2% slippage. So we flattened out with a short around here. Pushed downward. I didn't close my short. I was waiting for like one more move down. And I was going to stop out if we broke the highs. And then close my short and go long, right? But I went to bed with no orders in. That's typically what I do. I don't like holding orders overnight. That's mainly what I do. So I didn't have any orders in to close my short or let go of my short for a profit. I'm really aggravated because I stayed up last night like later than I ever stay up. And I stayed up last night until about 5:30. And if we look at a chart here, and we look at when this breakout started to occur, it literally started to occur like right when I logged off, closed all my turned off all my monitors, went to bed. It started damn near like 30 minutes after I went to bed. So it's just, I woke up, I saw it was at like 8,400, and I was instantly in a fucking bad mood. Because this entire month has been nothing but fucking 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m. breakouts, and there's just nothing I can do about it. I'm missing out on so many good trades because I'm sleeping, and my good trades that I'm in are getting destroyed. So it's just extremely frustrating. It's one of those feelings that just feels like the fucking world is against you. And I know it's trading. I feel like this every now and then when this shit happens. You bounce back from it. But it's really hard to just push it aside and act like it doesn't faze you, because it definitely pisses me off. I'm not going to be trading anymore today because I'm pretty aggravated, obviously. And I don't like trading when I'm aggravated like this. So we're not going to be trading anymore. Even if we do see a good trade, I'm probably going to try to avoid it. I don't know. I don't really know what I'm going to do for the rest of the month, if we're just going to hold out and just close the month the way we have it here and just reset in November. Because October has really been pissing me off. And it's just so aggravating coming off of 2 months of really good trading, fantastic gains, and then coming into October and there's so many variables out of my control that are affecting my trading, and it's extremely frustrating. Extremely frustrating. So today I'm not going to be too upbeat, obviously. We're going to do a little short stream. I am going to do my Doji system stream like we talked about. So we're going to do that, make a short video, and then I got to leave pretty much right at like 5. So I've got about an hour. So we're going to do a little bit of analysis here and then get started on the video, and then that's going to be the stream for today. But yeah, man, it's a rough night. Waking up to a complete reversal, a 15% reversal. It's funny because I'm aggravated, but I actually made money overnight if you think about it. Because I'm up in USD value across all my accounts. So all my crypto holdings are up in USD value, which is good. So I'm making money. Like if we're talking about USD, I'm making money. But taking a fucking loss on 2 fantastic trades just because I'm sleeping is extremely frustrating. Another thing that pisses me off even more is right before I went to bed, I started to see this pivot. You kind of have like a swing failure. It's funny. We were just talking about swing failure patterns, right? We just did the video on swing failure patterns yesterday. I shit you not. And what did we see here? We just saw a swing failure pattern the fucking day after, or even the day of, the day that we make the swing failure pattern video. Another funny fucking thing is, what video are we doing today? We're doing my Doji video. What was the bottom of Bitcoin? One of my Dojis. So, a little frustrating. It's another one of those times where my analysis was fucking spot on, and I just couldn't trade it because my fucking eyes were closed. And if you guys are in the Discord, if you guys go back and look at all my analysis that I posted the past few days, it was pretty much spot on. So I hope some of you guys in the Discord were able to trade it. I know a lot of you guys are in different time zones, so you guys can trade a little differently. This was one of the charts that I posted in Discord, and I said daily accumulation has broken to the downside, but if we regain 76.91 as support, it can be very bullish. If we don't hold this support, there is no major support until 6,500. So the long-term analysis that I did said that if you regained 76.91, it was going to be extremely bullish. This was my trigger. This is what I was going for. I was going to long 76.91 very heavy. But you can't do that when it breaks out fucking 15% and breaks through your level while you're sleeping. It's just really not much I can do. So you can see here, look at this. It's a perfect fucking level. Perfect level. Resistance on that Doji, and then boom. So if you would have had a stop, trigger to trade this breakout, you would have got filled and you would have been instantly profitable, damn near what, like 10 plus %. So extremely frustrating. Yeah, 14%, dude. That trade that I was looking for was a 14% instant gratification. And just couldn't trade it. So, October is really... This is probably my worst month of the year. Not in like ROE or like return-wise, but this is by far the worst trading month of the year that I've had. It's extremely frustrating. I know I keep saying that, but I cannot put into fucking words how frustrating October has been. This is one of those months that if I was a new trader, I would have like stopped trading for multiple months. If I was new to trading and everything that happened to me this month happened to me, I'd probably be like, you know what? I'm going to take a little bit of a break. I'm not going to trade for a little bit and come back later. But seeing that I'm decently experienced and I can bounce back from shit like this pretty quickly, it doesn't really affect me as much. But if I was a new trader, holy shit, I'd be pretty livid. But yeah, man, that's basically it. We did some analysis. It bounced right off our levels. All of our triggers were hit where they needed to be hit. All of our trades lined up. All the stars lined up. I had to go to sleep. It's really frustrating that the market is breaking out at 5, 6, 7, 8 a.m. Because it's not just me who's asleep. The majority of America is probably asleep. The majority of American citizens, American residents are sleeping. So it's not just me that's getting destroyed by these early morning kind of breakouts. Today is even more frustrating than the rest of October because, like I said, I literally stayed up until like 5:30, dude. I stayed up until like 5:30 in the morning, and it fucking broke out at 6 a.m. Oh, I'm fucking living, man. It sucks. But on a good note, ExoCharts did one of the recommendations that I recommended was to combine the delta profile with the imbalance so you could look at these together, and they did that already. So I say they, but it crazy enough, you know, this entire system is developed by one person. That guy's a fucking maniac, dude. No, of course I can trade overnight. Like, I can put stops in and do all that kind of trading. I found that over like a year and a half of doing that, it was not profitable. So I looked at my metrics and I looked at if I put in stop orders overnight to like enter trades, do they do well or do they not do well? And the overall consensus on my trading was that they do not do well. So yes, October is an exception. If I would have did that in October, I'd be highly profitable. But over the span of like a year, if I continued to do that, it is not good for my trading. My trading is very order flow based. I have a lot of order flow that goes into my trading, a lot of discretionary stuff that I have to look at that goes into my trading. My trading is not like based solely on indicators where this indicator can be green, this indicator can be green, I instantly buy it. I don't trade very heavily like that. They are very strong factors in my trading. So like Momo, OTS, they're very strong factors in my trading, but it's not that cut and dry. A lot of my trading is very discretionary. I look at how price is reacting to certain levels. I look where the volume's going. I do a lot of things that you just cannot do. You cannot use stop orders and do my kind of trading. But yes, in hindsight, if I were to use stop orders to enter these trades that I did analysis on, they would have worked out very well. Rum, you said you got stopped out at 8,300 wick last week, but I hit this long without a stop loss at 74. Nice, man. Very nice. You bought Ethereum yesterday? Nice, man. Good job. Got in early this morning at a BTC limit, 75.85. Very nice. You bought it at 162? Sweet, dude. What's it at now? It's at like 170 something, isn't it? Or 180, yeah, dude. That's a hell of a trade. Yeah, I'm really keeping an eye on it. I want to buy the next pullback. I think the next pullback is going to be one of the most profitable longs you could take, unless you get scammed. I did a lot of trading up here that didn't work out. I just got stopped out on my short. What I did, I doubled my short, or not doubled, but damn near doubled, raising my average. I was looking for a failure. We saw a lot of sell pressure coming in on ExoCharts. You lost this complete value area here. You started to push downward. Your POC was bearish. I put my stop loss like right towards the highs here, and we got stopped out. So I put a tight stop loss because I don't want to keep revenge trading this because I am extremely frustrated right now. So I'm not going to keep revenge trading. But I made my losing trade a little bit worse. So I did something that I typically don't do. I made my losing trade a little worse. I would have lost about like 7 percentage points. I ended up losing about 10. But yeah, man, it's rough, man. Right before I went to bed, I had a feeling that this was looking like a good place to close my short, and I just didn't pull the trigger. I had that hesitation, and that hesitation killed me. The reason I did so good last month was because I completely annihilated that hesitation. Whenever I felt like I was hesitating, I just went ahead and took the trade. But this month has been so scammy, and you got a lot of scam wicks, and you got all these retrace moves, that hesitation's really hard to break. Because I second guess all of these moves because they're constantly retracing, just like we saw here. So I second guessed myself. I could have closed my short and could have closed my long. I would have made a profit on my short. I would have made a profit on my long. We'd be up like 20+% on the month. But just that small decision to not close that short is the difference between being up 20% on the month and being only up like 1%. So that small hesitation cost me a lot of money. But like I said, it's all good. I know myself as a trader. I know how to bounce back from things like this. So I'm not going to take it too hard. It's just today, since it just happened, I'm going to be a little pissed off. But yeah, if you guys have any things you want me to take a look at real fast, feel free to put them in chat. Ethereum, I think, looks really good. I posted a ton of analysis on Ethereum in Discord, so if you guys want to see those charts, just take a look at the Discord, take a look at public analysis. I also posted some analysis on Bitcoin as well. You guys can check that out in Discord. I really like Ethereum long term here. Really nice double bottom. But hard to say. Hard to say with what's going on with the retraces. But yeah, it looks like a nice accumulation forming. Looks pretty good. I'll probably start to look to build a long-term Ethereum position pretty soon. I didn't trade last month, bad month for me. Yeah. Oh, you said you didn't trade good last month. Yeah, so it's the opposite for me. Last month was like perfect for me. Like everything worked out in my favor last month. I'm telling you, dude, this month, if you push these breakouts just like 5 hours back, this would have been my biggest month of the year. I shit you not. If these moves did not happen while I was sleeping, this would have been our biggest month of the year. And I know that's a big if. But if you go back and watch the streams, listen to my analysis, listen to what I'm saying, this could have easily been the biggest month of the year. We probably could have been 40 to 50% gained on this month. And that's another thing that just pisses me off. It's just a massive what if. My head is exploding with what ifs right now. So somebody asked me last month, and I'm blaming this entire month on you because you jinxed me. I don't remember who you were. But somebody asked me, what does a bad month look like? And you got your wish. This is what a bad month looks like. So a bad month for us isn't down 30, 40, 50%. We're actually still positive, but when it comes to trading, you don't want to focus too much on your P&L. You don't want to trade your P&L. You want to trade well. You don't want to trade to make money. And we did not trade well this month. Did we make money? I lost a word. Technically, Yes, we made some money. But was our trading good? No, our trading was dog shit. If you ask me, would I rather make money or would I rather trade good? It sounds like bullshit, but I'd probably say I'd rather trade good. Or trade well. Because that month, if you trade well, you're doing something right. And if you're doing something right, you can continue to trade well. And you can continue to push yourself and continuously trade well until you are making money. And then you can keep making money. But if you make money but you're not trading well, if you think you're trading well, you're going to keep doing those wrong things over and over again, and you're going to lose money eventually. So I would rather trade well than make money. Because in the long run, you're going to make more money trading well. The Tether printer did it again? Yeah, dude, Tether's the biggest scam in fucking cryptocurrency history. I see a lot of... Jeez, I can't talk. I see a lot of Tether come back in the market. That tells me big money is coming in. This move can extend. This is what happened from 4K to 9K. No, 100%, man. I think this is extremely bullish. I closed my long to make up for the losses on my short. Because I didn't want to just close my short because I would have taken a major loss on the month. So I closed all of my trades together because they were hedges. They were not... Basically, when I take trades like I have what I just did, I think of that as one trade. So when I close one side of it, I typically close the other side of it because it's one trade. If that makes sense. So what I did there is I closed my long. I held on to my short for a little bit to see if it would fail downward. But as soon as it started to go against me, I was like, no way, dude, I'm closing my short. Because I'm not going to close my long, leave my short open, and then let it go up. Because that makes me double wrong. I was wrong to close my long, and I was wrong to leave my short open. I don't want to be double wrong. That's how you lose a lot of money. So, I closed both my trades. I'm pissed off at myself because I didn't go heavier on this position. Yeah, that's something that you're going to get used to when you trade a lot more. Sizing. Sizing is a big thing. At those levels that when you go heavy, lower risk. Yeah. There are definitely certain trades that you want to trade heavier. Most of my trades, I trade about 1x to 1.5x. Some trades I'll trade like 2 to 3x. I haven't found any really clean trades to trade 2 to 3x lately. If I wasn't already in a long up here, I probably would have longed this level, and I probably would have built into it. But that's a big what if, so I'm not going to go into that whole scenario. I'm kind of already tired of talking about what ifs this month. This month has just been a whole pile of what ifs. But yeah, this is one of those trades that I typically build into because it's so strong. You have that black to white shift, you have that negative to bullish shift on the Momo. You broke the 50. Everything on this screen is bullish. You're above the pivot. Everything's bullish. You're above the trail. This is the kind of trade that I build into. But like I said, we're not going to go into it. We could easily make more money this month, so I'm not too worried about that. I'm really disgusted that I didn't get my entry though. This is the proper entry on the daily, and I called it out in Discord, so hopefully somebody was able to get it. But this is the proper entry on the daily, and didn't get it. So. If this thing continues to run, it's just going to piss me off even more. What's even more irritating about stuff like this is I should be in a long from here. So if this pulls back and I enter a long here, we talked about this on stream, I think it was like a week ago. So if this pulls back and I enter a long here, I have to accept the risk of this. Because if I'm entering a long where my entry is here, but I missed my entry, I have to accept the drawdown from my late entry to my real entry. Because if I take an entry here and it begins to fail, I can't just immediately cut this trade because this trade would still be held on to. You'd still be profitable. So if I take a late entry on this pullback, I have to accept the drawdown of this entire move, which that's a lot of drawdown. That's like 6 or 7%, I believe. Yes, 7%. That's a lot of drawdown. Are we white on the weekly? No, not yet. It ain't that easy. We're white on the daily. We're white on the daily. If the weekly turns white, it's gonna be looking really good. I agree, Vin. I think the next trade is going to be massive. I think the next trade is going to be the big trade. And if it happens at 6 a.m. and I miss it because I'm sleeping, I'm deleting my fucking Twitch channel. Oh, I'm just in one of those moods. I need like a punching bag in my room, dude. I'm in one of those moods that I just want to fucking break something. I woke up, and the first thing I always do when I wake up, I go on Tab Trader and I look at the price of Bitcoin. I'm just shit you not. First thing I do every time I wake up. I pull up my phone, I go on Tab Trader, and I check the price of Bitcoin. And I woke up, and it said 8,400, and I was like, what the fuck, dude? I like put my glasses on, I'm like, fuck, can I see? Am I blind? Is it 7,400? Nope, 8,400. I was fucking pissed, dude. I was pissed. And then I had to like really examine it to piss myself off some more. And I was like, okay, when did it start breaking out? And then I saw that it broke out at 6 a.m. and I wanted to fucking chuck my phone across the room, dude. I stayed awake until like 5:30. It breaks out at 6. Oof. It's just one of those things that makes you feel like the world is against you. Because I was waiting for that accumulation flip. So this setup has two phases. You have a deviation phase, or you have a continuation phase. So I was waiting for the deviation phase. I was waiting for the break in the retest of 76.91. Get up at 5 a.m. Yes, that's not doable. And it's not worth it either. Because if you go back and look at all the other months that we were trading, this shit doesn't happen. This is not a common thing for Bitcoin. Bitcoin doesn't break out from 4 to 8 a.m. very, very commonly across month over month. It's mainly just a recent occurrence. So if I flipped my entire routine and switched my schedule up, it wouldn't make sense. But alright guys, I gotta get started on this video. We don't have a whole lot of time. It's not gonna be that long of a video because like I said, this is like a part 2. So I'm just giving you guys like another taste of this system. If you guys want to learn about this system, just watch the very first video. It's like an hour long. This video is probably gonna be about 30 minutes, so it's gonna be a lot shorter. Yeah, it's sneaky, perfectly said, man. Perfectly said. He said, because there was no indication to. Once he flips that 76.91, easy pile on, reduce risk. Perfectly said. I can tell you've been watching the streams. So this is one of those trades that the people who caught the bottom, they farm a lot of clout on Twitter, right? They're like, hey, look at me, I caught the bottom. But this is one of those trades that's really like a knife catch unless you're trading a certain system. So we're going to go over this in the video, because if you were trading my Doji system, you actually had a perfect buy. But unless you have evidence that you are trading a system that caught the bottom, and you just caught the bottom based on like a knife catch, and you're farming clout on Twitter, you don't impress me at all. Because taking this trade here, that's not a good trade. If you're buying here, and you're not buying based on like a previous support or some kind of support system, or like some kind of bull div or whatever, if you're just taking that trade based on the candles, that's not a very good trade. But if you can show me a system that called that trade, then that's solid. Now, if you look at Discord, I posted multiple systems to call that trade. You have the daily bull div, you have the doji on the daily, you have the accumulation deviation. There's many different systems that called that trade, but just didn't work out in my execution. My execution was poor. And trust me, I'm not making any excuses. My trading execution for this month has been dog shit. So the trades that I have been awake for have been pretty bad. So trust me, I'm not making excuses. My trading has been dog shit in October. Compared to what we did in September, there's no excuse for my trading execution in October. Now, the excuse for the shit that I can't control, like the breakouts in the morning, there's just nothing I can really do about that. But alright, let's move on. I'm tired of talking about it. I feel like this is a fucking daily occurrence now, and it's just getting really irritating for me to complain about missing these trades overnight. I can't stand complaining about the same thing over and over again, so I'm going to try to stop. I'm just trying to vent. It's just more of me venting because I'm so frustrated. But let's close all this shit up. Let's try to not get distracted here. Hey Andre, what's going on, man? K-Toy, good to see you. You traded the previous doji, or you traded the doji on the previous range. Didn't mind getting stopped out. Trade tight stop losses. Yeah, that's a solid trade. Having a system and having some tight stops. I was long, take profit because I saw the exhaustion and put entries and re-entries of short at 78, 79, and my stop loss got rejected because of the insufficient account balance. 80% balance, minus 60% profit. Yeah, man, I feel you, dude. I'm having a rough day, too. Not that rough. I took about a 10% loss on my account. We're still positive on the month, but it's a very rough day for sure. The problem with the losses are, I always look at the what-if scenarios where if you got the proper entry, you wouldn't have taken a loss, you would have taken a gain. So even if you took a 1% gain, the difference between a 1% gain and a 10% loss is pretty huge. Swing low failure? Yes, this is a swing low failure. We were just talking about that. It's funny as hell. We just made the video yesterday. So if anybody watched that video right when we made it, you could have traded this swing low failure today. We were perfectly... the timing on that video is just perfect. But alright, like I said, I'm going to start the video. It's going to be very short because I'm basically just going to be saying the same exact thing that I said in the first video. I'm going to be talking about my Doji system. This is going to be more to answer questions. So the first video, I was just kind of teaching. This is going to be more to answer questions. So please, think of any questions that you guys have for my Doji system, finding support and resistance, and ask your questions while I'm doing the video so I can answer them. Because if I make this video and you guys aren't asking questions, it's going to turn out literally the same exact video as the first one. So let me know if you guys have any questions, and post them in chat, and I'm gonna go over them during the video. All right, let me turn the music off. Yeah, you got to learn the hard way, man. 100% you do. Trading, you definitely have to learn the hard way. You'll learn from losses for sure. Well, hopefully, learning from losses is pretty major. All right, let me just visualize some examples real fast. We have a lot of examples on Bitcoin. The Doji system is extremely profitable on Bitcoin. Hey, Og, I appreciate that, man. He said, "I wish your stream had more viewership. You deserve a lot bigger audience." I appreciate it, man. I feel like I'm getting the recognition that I deserve, like on YouTube, Twitter. I feel like I'm doing very well. Twitch is mainly just because the audience for trading on Twitch, I've capped out already. So if you guys are OGs of my stream, we basically capped out in like 2 months. We were doing like 50, 60, 70 viewers on average. I got like 1,300 followers in like 2 months. But that's just how many people were watching trading on Twitch. There's not that many viewers for trading on Twitch. So we've kind of hit a peak, and that's why I'm shifting more towards YouTube. So I feel like I'm getting the recognition that I deserve for the amount of effort and content that I put in. But I really appreciate you guys being here and all the kind words you guys post on my videos and everything. It really makes me motivated to continue to do what I do. If I didn't get any like views or anything on YouTube, or nobody watched me on Twitch, I wouldn't be doing this every single day. So I really appreciate you guys being here. Really appreciate you guys watching. As always, man. Anything you guys do, sub, donate, watch my videos, like my videos, post comments, anything. You guys are awesome, man. But all right, let's get started. So if you guys are just coming in, we're going to be going over my Doji system. My Doji system is used to find support and resistance levels. It can be used on stocks, crypto, forex, whatever. It can be used on many different markets. I've already done a video on this topic on my channel. If you go to my How to Trade highlights, it's the first video in that playlist. I think it's called How to Find and Trade Key Support and Resistance Levels. So this is going to be basically a part 2 of that video. I'm going to use this time to answer questions that people have about my Doji system, or just kind of reiterate what I went over in the first video. If you guys have any questions, like I said before, please put them in chat and I'll answer them immediately. And if you guys are watching the video on YouTube, feel free to put any questions in the comments and I'll get to them as soon as possible as well. But alright guys, let's get started. So the basics of my Doji system are very simple. What I look for is an impulse move down or up, and I want to know where is that point of origin of that impulse move. So this would be considered the point of origin if we had some kind of support here that failed, or if we had some kind of resistance here that failed. These would become your point of origins. Okay? That is the basics of this system. That is what you need to find these dojis. Okay? So let's just go back to, I'm going to start from like here, because we can see how the levels play out to the upside and downside. You can use this on any time frame. I recommend using it on higher time frames, like the 1 hour, 4 hour daily. But it can be used for scalping as well. I have demonstrated that on stream multiple times. But yeah, let's get started here. You have this point of origin right here, right? So you have an impulse move up. You have this little cluster of support that created this impulse move up. So this impulse move up created a new high. So you had a really strong breakout. So we want to see, where did that impulse move originate from? And why did it break out so heavily? So if we look back, we can see that it was really struggling to break above this level here. Let me zoom in a little bit more here. So we can see that it was really struggling to break above this level, right? So you can see that all of these candles here during this kind of accumulation are nothing but a bunch of dojis. And a doji, if you guys don't know, is just a candle that has a small body and small wicks on both sides. It's an indecision candle. It's kind of a battle candle where the bulls and the bears are battling. Now, a lot of people ignore dojis, but I think dojis are the most important candles on the chart, because that really shows you where the bulls and the bears are battling for price. So, okay, we have this cluster of dojis that acts as your point of origin for your breakout. So that's the first thing we need. Now let's see, where was that breakout? Where did that breakout really start to gain momentum? So you can grab the dojis right where that breakout finally happened, or you could go even lower and find like that bottom doji that was kind of the bottom of that support. Hopefully that makes sense. So if we have an accumulation here, if we have a support, let's say you have a doji here at the top and you have a doji here at the bottom. You can take the level from the doji at the bottom that was not broken, or you can take the level from the doji at the high when the price really started to break out. Okay, so let's look at both of these levels here and look at how price reacted to these levels when it got to this point of origin. So you can see that, yes, this is hindsight once you see the high here. So once you have that breakout, this becomes hindsight. But you could have waited for these levels throughout all of this price action. So it's not complete hindsight trading. You can see price found a beautiful support here, began to bounce, but then fell downward. Now let's see where it bounced. Let's see if we can find another level. So same thing here. Look at this. These are my favorite dojis to use, are the evening star and morning star dojis. So when you have like an impulse move down or an engulfing candle, you have a small doji and then you have an impulse move up. This becomes a beautiful level for if we start to fall back down, this becomes a beautiful support. Okay, so look at this doji here. You have that impulse down, you have that support, and then breakout. And then look at what we see. We do not see any break below that support once that doji was created. This is why I say that dojis are the most important candles on the chart. Because what happened during this doji? You had a massive sell-off, you had the buyers retrace, and then you had a massive battle between buyers and sellers. And then what happened after that battle? The buyers completely broke out. So the sellers were defeated. So when the buyers start to fail and start to pull back, they have a lot of support during that doji. Okay? Let's look at where price bounced recently. Talk about hindsight, right? So if you used my doji system, I've been talking about this for about 2 years now, almost on stream. You could have seen that this is a very strong support. But if we were to break this support and we look back, we don't really have that strong of a support below us for quite some time. You could grab this doji here. I don't typically like these dojis, but you could grab that doji. But the dojis that I would really take for a lower support is this last little move right here, where you have this slight doji pullback and then you break to the upside. So if we were to break this cluster of support here, you don't have a major support until like 5,800. Let me rephrase that. You don't have a major untested support. You do have major supports if you go back to like 2018, but all of these levels have already been tested. These levels have not been tested. They are clean levels. Clean levels will have a stronger reaction than levels that have already been tested. Now, let me make sure I'm not missing any questions. Will our next breakout just come back to the 8K level point of origin since we are making new support here? So let's see. So we just made a new point of origin doji. Our new doji is 7,500. We also just tested another doji right here. And we broke this point of origin doji. We also just broke this point of origin doji. So these dojis did not act as a strong enough resistance to hold price down. Because this breakout was so strong, these dojis were not strong enough to hold price down. And if you look at this on a lower time frame, you can really see what happened. You had no resistance here, you broke through it, but look at where we failed. Look at where we failed on this first wick. So let's delete these other levels. Look at this first level here. What's the high of that candle? 85.85. What is our doji? 86.5. So you missed that level by $1. This was a 16% candle, and you missed that level, or you hit it by a. So these dojis can be very exact, even during massive breakouts or massive breakdowns. And you can see you had a pretty strong scalp off that level. You went from almost 8,600 back down to 8,300. You had a $300 failure to the dollar on that doji level. Okay. So you still have this level kind of acting as a support and resistance zone. Now let's see if we break out of this accumulation, where are our next levels going to be? So one thing that I do with my doji system, so you have a doji here, right? And you have that breakout to the upside. So if you have a breakout to the upside, you can grab the top of that doji, the whatever is higher from the open or close. So this is a green candle, or it's a white candle on my chart. So the highest price from the open and close is the close. If it were a red candle, the higher price would be the open. So if it breaks out to the upside, you want to grab the high of that candle, the high of the open and close. If it does what we see here and breaks to the downside, you want to grab the low of that candle. It pretty much is almost the same level most of the time, but sometimes these dojis can be a little wide. So just know that there is a resistance there. And what a lot of people like to do with my doji system is instead of drawing these exact levels, they'll just take the entire doji. So if you're not like an exact trader, if you don't really care about exact levels, people have showed me that they'll do this. They'll grab the entire doji. Now, I do this sometimes, but not all the time. So you can do that if you wish. But just know that if we move forward, if we move upward, we have a resistance right here. And if you look at, before we broke to the downside, where did this candle find support? Now look at this level here. Let's go down to a shorter time frame. Oh, it's gonna take me a long time. Let's go to an hourly. Here we go. So look at where that candle, this failure downward, look at where that found support. We can go all the way back and use this daily doji right here to look at a lower time frame and find where that support was found. And it was found almost exactly on that doji. Does that make sense to you guys? Does everything make sense so far? How to find the dojis, when to take the high, when to take the low, when are they support, when are they resistance? So here's another perfect example. You have a red candle or black on my screen. So you take the low of the candle and you have resistance, resistance, resistance. These also are swing failure patterns. So if you guys watched my video from yesterday, we talked about swing failure patterns. These also become swing failure patterns because they break the level and they retrace back down. Now, another thing that I recommend doing is what I just showed you earlier, is if you take the daily levels, you can go down to a lower time frame and trade the daily levels. I don't recommend taking like a 15-minute level and then trading it on a 1 hour. Always go down. So if you take a 1 hour doji, like we're currently forming here, you don't want to trade this on like a 4 hour. You want to trade it on like a 15 or a 5. You want to trade down. So if you make higher time frame levels, you want to trade down. You don't want to trade up. Trying to think of anything else I can add that wasn't in the first video. Do you guys have any questions? So same thing here. Check this out. You have a doji. You have an impulse move down. That's the two things that we look for. You would look for the impulse move and the point of origin of that impulse move. You have a doji here. And look at where we topped out in 2019. This also became a swing failure pattern. But look at where the candles are closing. The candles closed all resisting that doji. And also, look at where you found resistance right here. So you have that doji, impulse, pullback, first test, failure. And then look at what we're seeing here. Continuation of that resistance. So until that level, 11,560 is broken, you're going to have resistance on that level. But now look at what we're doing. Weekly, you have a doji. You have a swing failure pattern of that doji. Okay. Let's look at some other examples. Here's another doji. So this one was broken to the upside. So you would grab the high of that doji. Look at this. You're not tested, right? So you're not tested on this little distribution. But if you took the high of the doji, you are tested. So here's another example of what people used to show me. They used to show how they do the entire doji instead of just one of the levels. So they would grab like this whole doji here. I don't like it because sometimes the dojis like this get really big. So I don't typically do that. But you can see here, if they took this entire doji, you have that clean bounce of that high there. And you're kind of finding support during that doji. But yeah, here's a good example of if you take the wicks, they're still good. So not only the bodies are strong, the wicks are strong as well. And then look at the body here. So if you take the body, look at where we're failing. We have a resistance being put in on both of these highs. Oh, excuse me. How much do you take into account the different style of dojis? For example, Falling stars. Oh, let me re-say that so I can cut that out of the video. How much do you take into account the different style of dojis? For example, falling stars, hanging men, and hammers. So I don't care too much what kind of doji it is, but my favorite dojis are like morning stars and evening stars. So like these dojis. I put more emphasis on these dojis than I do all the other ones. All the other ones are kind of just the same. You can always do the whole doji horizontal ray, and yeah. So I've actually done that before on stream. That's a good point. So you could do a line there on the high, a line there on the low, and then you could do like a rectangle for like the body. Now, you are looking at a weekly doji. Do you suggest always looking for higher time frame dojis first? It depends on what you're trying to trade. So if you're trying to trade short term, like not scalping, but just like short term trading, kind of like intraday trading or maybe slightly swing trading, I recommend doing the 1 through 4 hour. I call these the mid macros. So 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour. I recommend doing those dojis. If you're doing like short term to kind of slightly swing trading. If you're doing longer term swing trading, I recommend doing the 4 hour or the daily or the weekly. And then, like I said, you can take the weekly or daily levels and then trade them on like a 4 hour. You don't have to trade them on the time frame that you made them on. But know that for like swing failure patterns or considering if something closed above or below the level, you should use whatever time frame you made the level on. So if we took the doji here, so we took the doji here, right? This is a 4 hour doji. These candles did not close below that level. But if I were to look at a lower time frame, these candles closed below that level. So if you're using a different time frame, you want to make sure you're basing your analysis off of that time frame. You can trade it on a lower time frame, but if you're like, okay, is this a swing failure pattern? Is this breaking the level? You want to determine that based on the time frame that you made the level. Does that make sense? But yeah, you can see how the support holds pretty strongly here. Now, one thing to keep an eye on for Bitcoin right now is look at this doji here. So you have a doji here. You are breaking the doji. You've acted as resistance. You broke it, and now you're failing. If this gets back below this doji and starts to act as resistance, you're not looking very good, and you probably will retest kind of this system or this system here. But if we do hold this support, then that's a support. So longs would be very good above that level. Four hour, and daily. 1 hour, 4 hour, and daily are my 3 favorite time frames for the dojis. 1 hour, 4 hour, and daily. The 1 hour dojis are very clean. 4 hour are very clean as well. Daily are really good for long-term trading. You can see here on the 1 hour, you could take... So it doesn't have to be a doji every single time. So I would consider this still a doji. And you guys have probably heard me say this on stream many times. I'll call something like this a doji, even though it's really not a doji. When I say stuff like that, I'm just referring to like my doji system. So I would take this candle because it matches my criteria. It's kind of a small resistance that pops into a massive impulse. So that is your point of origin. So when I call something a point of origin, I'm referring to this. So you have a point of origin here. And you can see how we acted as support. And then once we were broken, we acted as resistance, and it pushed price down. So it doesn't always have to be a beautiful doji. So another example is here. Look at this one. This is not a beautiful doji. You could take the low there, and that would act as resistance, or you could go back and take the doji here. So you see this doji right here? You could take that doji, and that acts as your level as well. But if you're taking the last candle before that major breakdown, you would take this candle here. So this system has a lot of leeway. You don't have to be exact. And that's why, like I said, a lot of people will just take zones because they don't really care to be exact. Now you can see how this little point of origin system acted as a kind of SR flip here. So if we were to pull back, you could look for a support around that 8250 to 8300. But alright guys, I gotta wrap this video up. If you guys like this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Make sure to leave a like on the video. If you guys didn't already, go back and watch the first video I did on this system. It's in my How to Trade highlights. It's the first video. It's called How to Find and Trade Key Support and Resistance Levels. So make sure you check that out if you haven't already. It's going over the same exact system. It's a little bit longer a video. It's about an hour long. So you guys can learn a lot from that as well. But alright guys, I appreciate you guys being here. If you guys have any further questions, feel free to put them in the comments. And as always, I'll get to them as soon as possible. And I will see you guys next Monday. I don't stream on the weekend, so we'll be back Monday for another stream. Alright guys, appreciate you guys being here. You guys have a good weekend. See you later.